Hello, hello, welcome back to Math is Easy, step by step. So we're going to continue a different problem, factoring out the greatest common factor method. Here we've got 8 times the quantity of m squared times the quantity of z cubed plus 4 times m times z to the third power. These are both different terms. My first question is, what can I divide evenly into both of these terms, right? I want to factor out. So it starts with division. We check our answer by doing the inverse of dividing, which is multiplying. But let's factor these out first. I know I can divide a 4 evenly here, and I can divide a 4 evenly here in that 8. I know I can divide at least one m, or m to the first power, here with this term. And since I got m squared, I know I can divide at least m to the first power in this term. I know I can divide z to the third power in this term and in this term as well. So we're looking at dividing both 4 m to the first power z to the third power into both of these terms. Now, if you cannot see that here, I strongly suggest you use the method of writing it out in expanded form, right? So show all factors, that's multipliers, in both terms using expanded form to determine, if you don't know, what can be divided evenly into both of these terms. So I'm going to do kind of a generic little factor tree here I'd like to show you. And I know that 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. And this is all being shared through multiplication. So times, I know m times m, you have to add the exponents, is m squared, times 3z. Z times z times z would give me z to the third power. Remember, these invisible ones, you would add them together. If you don't know invisible ones, check out my videos on invisible ones. Plus, I know 4 is 2 times 2, times 1m, oh, there it is, there's one of the invisible ones, times z times z times z. You add these ones up to get z to the third power. The m invisible one is m to the first power, all by itself. So these are the expanded forms for both of these terms. What do both of these two terms share? As I mentioned before, at least 2 times 2, 2 times 2, at least a 4. And at least one m can be divided into both of these terms, and definitely 3z to both of the terms. So 4 times m times z cubed can be divided evenly into both of these terms. So that's what I'm going to focus on, right? That's what I'm going to focus on. What do these two terms share? Well, they both share. Let me bring that back down so you can see a little bit better. 4 times m times z to that third power. Hopefully that's making a little bit of sense. I'm not going too fast. So guess what I'm going to do to both of those terms? I'm going to perform step 2. I'm going to divide the shared factors into both of those terms. So 4mz cubed divided into both sides. Now, some folks don't need expanded form, and some folks do. So whatever works best for you, hey, go ahead and use that. Because I know 4 divided by 4, m divided by m, z cubed divided by z cubed, anything over itself is 1. And I know 8 divided by 4 is 2. The rule is when you divide, you subtract. The exponents, 2 minus the invisible 1 is m. And it'll be on the top because I have more 2's on top than the bottom. So 2m and z cubed over z cubed is 1. So 2m plus 1 will be my remainder. What goes outside the parentheses? 4mz cubed goes outside the parentheses. Hey, let's show you what I just spoke about, and I'd like to show you both methods, right? So we're going to continue to divide, and I'm going to show you two ways to do that, right? 4 divided by 4m divided by mz cubed divided by z cubed, and the same thing over here. 8 divided by 4 m squared divided by m z cubed divided by z cubed gives you that 2m plus the 1, anything over itself is 1, value. This would go inside the parentheses because this is my remainder. 4mz cubed will go outside the parentheses, because that is my factor. Now, if you're having a hard time seeing that, let me show you the expanded form. And so 8 is 2 times 2, which is 4 times 2. And times m is m squared, times 3z is z cubed. And here I'm showing you what we're factoring out in both terms. 2 times 2 is 4 times m times z cubed. So anything over itself is 1. Anything over itself is 1. So all these start canceling out to be 1. There's nothing left on the bottom. There's an m and a 2 on top. 2 times 1 times 1 times 1 times m is 2m. Times 1 is still just 2m. Plus, all the z's cancel, all the m's cancel, the 2's cancel. Anything over itself is 1. So we have 2m plus 1. Hopefully this is helping you. If I'm going too fast, please rewind. Watch it again. We're left with 2m plus 1. That's our remainder. What did we factor out of both of those terms? Right? Remember, place the common term. That's the divisible term that we divided into both of those terms. That was the 4mz cubed. That goes on the outside, right? Inside the parentheses is the remaining term after division. Again, that goes on the inside. What does that look like? It looks like 4mz cubed times a quantity of 2m plus 1. Stays on the inside. Now you want to check your answer. Did I factor this correctly? Right? And we're going to use the inverse. Let me get my paper up here. I'm sorry about that. Oh, that wasn't very smooth, was it? Hey, let's check our answer. So in step 4, you do the inverse or the opposite of dividing, which is what we use to factor out of both of those terms. And now we're going to distribute or multiply. 4mz cubed times 2m and 4mz cubed times 1. Let me show you what that looks like here. I'm breaking it down and showing you all of these invisible ones here. I want you to see that. I don't want to cover that up to show clarity. Again, 4 times 2, 4mz cubed times 2m. So 4 times 2, m times m. We add those m's up, and I'm breaking it down in expanded form for you. 4mz cubed times 1 is just 4mz cubed. 4 times 4 is 1, times 1 times 1 is 4mz cubed. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times the 2 is 8. 1 times 1 is 1m. We add the exponents. That gives us m squared times 1z cubed is this the same term that we started with? 8m squared times z cubed plus 4mz to the third power. Did you get that same expression you started with? Then yes. 4mz cubed times a quantity of 2m plus 1 is the correct factor from the problem we started with. 8m squared z cubed plus 4 times mz cubed using the greatest common factor method to factor the expression. Hopefully this has made things a little bit easier. I try to show those invisible ones for clarity, not confusion. And so I got a little more time here so you can see this. Again, when you multiply, you add those exponents. And so 1 times 1 is 1. M, add them up. That gives you that m squared. Again, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8 plus plus. 4 times 1 is 4, times 1 is still 4, m to that invisible 1 power, it's invisible, times 1z is just z cubed. Thank you for joining me. Math is easy. Take it step by step. If I've helped you, please help me to continue bringing these videos to you. Thank you for joining me.